myself as a noble fly buzzing high above the tower of human garbage. Tonight, a man who, night after night, brings joy to hundreds. Dave.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. My name is Dave Letterman, the tallest man currently hosting a talk show. Thank you.
That is correct.
According to the latest Washington Post poll, I thought this was interesting and telling, not to mention insightful. George Bush is 7 points ahead now of Michael Dukakis, and the margin of error here is Dan Quayle. But, you know, seriously, did a cloud just float by? Just for a second there, was there a shadow drifting by, Paul? Did you see that?
Been, yeah. Vice President. Possibly.
You know, I'm starting to wonder if there's a correlation here. You know, my life is, it's just a living hell. Well, I'll tell you what happens here, and you tell me if you think maybe there isn't a connection. Last week, I get into a huge fight with my cook, and I have to cut his pay. And ever since then now, and I don't know if this is my imagination, but ever since then, all my food tastes like cleanser. So I don't know. You know, ladies and gentlemen, I was watching, as I do most evenings, PBS, and Nova was on last night. There was a rather interesting point brought up on this program, although now I guess we all understand that the human brain is approximately 80% water. Experts feel that it would be really lousy tasting water. Yes, sir. Like a bourbon and a shot of brain water. Oh, it's so quiet in here now, isn't it, Paul?
It's sort of peaceful, actually.
Yes, it is peaceful. Like one of the great cathedrals of Europe in here today, isn't it? I don't know why, but I always get a little queasy when this happens. And again, an anecdote from my personal life. The fat guy who lives alone in the house next to me, and this happens every few weeks, he comes over, knocks on my door, I go downstairs, and he wants to borrow a pint of baby oil. I'm the tallest man with a talk show, ladies and gentlemen. Just keep that in.
Late night with David Letterman.
Hi, you're on the air. Turn down your radio, please. I'm 6'6", 240. Thank you very much. Wait a minute, Kevin. Was that it? Yeah. That was the big one? Oh, no. Didn't we have another one? That was it for the jumbo joke cards? We did all 4 of them? Let's go back and do one over. Let's see. No, we don't want to do that one over. No, really lousy tasting water. No, we don't want to do that one either. You're right. We're done. Turns out he knows what he's talking about. What the end of October, everybody's getting ready for that special night of weird costumes and scary noises and big bags of candy. No, I'm not talking about a GE executive board meeting. No, of course, here I mean Halloween. So let's now take a look at some of the new and unusual costumes that you'll be seeing on your trick-or-treaters this year. Walk this way, ladies and gentlemen, to the Letterman family home. Okay, enough of the cartoon. Thank you very much. Here, ladies and gentlemen, here we are in the Letterman living room in the Letterman trailer, and we're just now waiting for the little trick-or-treaters. Geez, I wonder who that could be. Was that the doorbell? All right, here's our first little trick-or-treater of the evening. Hi, come on in. Whoa, easy. Watch yourself. Gosh, look at how elaborate this costume is. He all right? All right. Don't worry, folks, the chance of electrocution is actually very small. This costume brings back happy memories of summer vacations, doesn't it? It's the Bug Zapper. And for you, son, I believe we have a pound-and-a-half can of generic beef stew. All right, I'll do... Oh! Are you okay? Yeah, okay. Whoa, well, don't topple over and hurt anyone. And of course, when I say don't hurt anyone, I'm referring to me. Okay, there you go. Nice to see you. Happy Halloween. God almighty. We may have to copter that kid out of here. Oh, well, let me close the door. Well, that's it for the trick-or-treaters. I can't imagine there being... Oh, guess what? There is somebody else. Hi, come on in. Nice to see you. What's your name?
My name's Tika Benson, and I'm 4 years old.
Okay, fine. And moms will love this safety-conscious costume. It's the Lil Traffic Cone. And I tell you, for you, we have $25 worth of gambling chips from Trump's Casino in Atlantic City. Here you go. Enjoy yourself. Pretty busy night, don't you think, Paul? Exactly. Yeah. Hi, come on in. Nice to see you. Oh, this is cute. You can forget all about the Thundercats or Spider-Man. This year, inspired by intense media exposure, most kids want to be the Reverend Al Sharpton's vest. And it looks like it might be actual size. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a good look. Let's see. And for you, we have some wiper blades. There you go. Do you drive?
No.
Well, these will come in mighty handy, won't they? Nice to see you. Happy Halloween. Bye-bye. Reverend Al Sharpton's vest. One more. Gosh, I hope we don't run out of candy. Oh, hi, how are you? Nice to see you. What is your name?
My name's Tika Benson, and I'm 4 years old.
Wow, this is a terribly frightening costume, ladies and gentlemen. It's a bar of Willie Nelson's soap. We have for you, sweetheart, a nail gun, okay? Might want to tease your folks with that. There you go. Be careful. Nice to see you. Honey, say hello to Ernest Borgnine in the green room, okay? All right. Kids love Ernest Borg. Oh, hi. How are you? Nice to see you. Thanks for being here. Here's a popular costume among youngsters who enjoy wearing hairpieces. It's Cy Sperling, president of the Hair Club for Men.
And I'm not just the hair club president.
Right.
I'm also a client.
Yeah, very good. That's very nice. Very good, son. You need some therapy. Here we have for you a lovely giant ceramic monkey. I made this myself. I hope you treasure it, won't you? Oh, geez, I was getting ready to turn in. Oh, hi, how are you? Kids who live in big cities and only see animals at the metropolitan zoos will recognize this lovable fellow. It's the heavily drugged bear covered with debris. Are you all right in there? Okay, let's see. Oh, and for you we have a pound of bacon. Here you go, fry it up, share it with your friends. Let me put it... Yeah, here, can you... There you are. Thank you very much. Be careful. Hi, come on in. Oh, look at this. It's some kind of a car. What kind of car is this exactly? I see. It's a Suzuki Samurai, isn't it? That's what I thought. Do you like garnishes? We have some parsley for you. Okay, happy Halloween. The Suzuki Samurai, Paul. Say hello to Mr. Borgnine. Oh, my gosh, what a night, Paul. I don't remember it ever being this busy. Oh, this is good. If your child is a New York baseball fan, they'll love wearing this rotating wheel of Yankee managers. They're all here. We have, of course, there's Gene Michaels and Dallas Green, the new man, and Lou Piniella, and, excuse me, and Billy Martin. And they just... I have here for you, this is a stick now. but it's not an ordinary stick. It's a stick out of my backyard. All right?
All right.
Will you enjoy that?
Yes.
All right. Happy Halloween. This better be the last, because we're running out of stuff to give away. All right, I'll be right there. They're probably out vandalizing my car now, aren't they? Okay, hi, come on in. Oh, it's a couple. Isn't this nice? Here's a popular pair of costumes that we're seeing for the first time this year. Michael Dukakis's eyebrows. Very nice. It's good to see kids still look up to America's leaders. All right. Okay, here for you, we have a quart of charcoal starter. There you go. And for you, sir, we have a fan belt. I hope you enjoy those. Thank you very much. Happy Halloween. Bye-bye. Is that it? There it is. Halloween.
Alaska has proven one thing. People are interested in whales. CNN's Dave Monzes reports this isn't the first time whales have gotten in trouble and people have developed such an interest.
Like Rocktoberfest! 31 days again! Papa!
Smartest and best looking, and I am the tallest talk show host in America.
Doctor
Merv Griffin was technically bigger than I was, but I was always taller than Merv was.
Is the Dr. J show off the air now, then?
I don't know what... Oh, yeah, it may be. But look, I have one of these tonight.
You have the... You have...
Yeah. This is a cheap way to generate hydroelectric power for the entire Northeast, just by doing this. We could light the entire eastern seaboard with that.
It's wonderful. You know what that's called?
Well, of course I know what it's called. It's the Vibraslap.
Vibraslap, also known as the jawbone of an ass.
Really?
Absolutely true, yes.
Oh, no kidding. And what makes that noise in there? There's something in there.
It's a little... originally, I think it used to be an actual jawbone of a donkey with teeth rattling.
Really?
And now it's been, you know, synthesized,
Yeah.
MIDI.
Because they outlawed donkey teeth years ago.
That
so.
must have been what it was.
But we have one of those if we ever need it.
If we need it, okay.
Before we bring out George...
Yes, Dave.
What is... Oh, it's a Hal Gurney Network time killer, Paul. Do we have music for this?
Music, Paul. And come on in.
Oh, there's Hal. Hi, Hal. How are you?
Hi, Dave.
Yeah. What do you have for us tonight, Hal?
Something very special, Dave. I have some footage of Dan Quayle eating lunch. You want to see that?
Dan Quayle,
eating lunch. Roll it,
Vice
Hal.
presidential candidate Dan Quayle
That's
eating
the guy.
lunch. All
Here
right,
it comes.
Hal, let's take a look.
There it is.
President Reagan. He's
Can you see that,
addressing
Dave?
Yeah.
There, lower left-hand corner. There it is.
My God, it is. It's Dan Quayle.
Little sound in the background there.
The president appears
talking.
to be speaking.
He is. He's talking.
Yeah. Everyone else seems to be paying attention. This guy is obviously there just for the free lunch.
Quite a trench.
Which I think was his early campaign slogan, wasn't it? I'm just here for the free lunch.
Pretty heavy with the butter, wouldn't you think?
Yeah. But I'm sure he's paying attention, wouldn't you?
This goes on for another hour, Dave.
It goes on for another. Dan Quayle, ladies and gentlemen, eating lunch. Eating lunch, ladies and gentlemen. Anything else we got to do here? I guess we're ready to roll. Our first... you always dress quite colorfully.
Oh, thank you very much.
And tonight is no exception.
No, tonight is no exception. I wanted to mention, I did have another plug. I know that you're you're not crazy about doing plugs.
Anti-plug.
A little bit of anti-plug. Sometimes I've noticed you'll have somebody on, and you'll say kind of proudly, you'll say something like that, they're not plugging anything, they're just here because they like us.
That's right, sure.
Well, first of all, they don't like you that much. And second of all, they're out of work. So
See? But you will be at Giggles.
I'll be at the Comedy Castle in Detroit also next week, right. And then the Atlanta Punchline on Thanksgiving week. I'm all done with them now.
So for you, it's a national tour of dumps.
Thank you very much. Yeah, get him. Get him. Gee, they even boo you when you have your own show. That is really amazing.
So tell now, you were always you would come on the show and you'd be looking for a gimmick.
I'm still looking for a while. Since I left you last, I became the hip comic.
Yeah.
I thought of myself as the hip comic, and then somebody said you can't do that because they pointed out that for a long time I thought Bon Jovi was a cologne, so I cannot be.
No, you couldn't be hip. No, if you
not if you think Bon Jovi. So now I'm the in the news.
In the news.
I'm the in the news comic. You're always talking about Dan Quayle, and remember a few weeks
had
ago.
him eating lunch. Did
I
you
just
see
saw that. I was back there watching him eat lunch. A few weeks ago, Bush defended Dan Quayle. He said, okay, he did not go to Vietnam, but also he did not burn the American flag or his draft card.
Right.
It's like, I shot the sheriff, but I did not shoot the deputy. So. Thank you very much. And then my Uncle Lewis came to...
I met Uncle Lewis.
You met Uncle Lewis?
Yeah, in Los Angeles a few years ago. Yeah.
And he announced that he is going to vote for Bush. And I said to him, well, Uncle Lewis, does this mean that you do think that you are better off now than you were 8 years ago? And then he reminded me that 8 years ago he was in prison.
Oh,
so it's,
sure, of course. He would be better than,
a little bit better off.
How come he had to go away? I remember hearing
it was
about
something
that.
about some phony checks. Yeah.
See,
yeah.
It wasn't a check kiting scheme, was it?
I'm not sure about that, but it was some kind of trouble. Yeah. So then, and on with my In the News portion here. Timothy Leary. Remember Timothy Leary, who advocated...
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. LSD use in the 60s. He wanted that. And he paid $35,000 so that after he dies, they're going to remove his head and then freeze it, you see. Now, does this mean we'll never quite be rid of him? Or... And his wife told him, don't put it off, have it done now. And then Mayor Koch here.
We're still in the news.
We're still in the news. We got one more to go in the news.
For people scoring at home.
Mayor Koch, your own Mayor Koch, said, don't give the vagrants money. They'll just use it to get high. Yeah. Gee, I thought they were going to build roads and schools. Thank you. The second applause. The second applause since I've been on here.
You look like you might be later going to officiate an Australian rules football contest with this little outfit.
You never stop with those clothes jokes. Just
I'm sorry.
Years and years and years.
So you've been watching a lot of television?
Oh, always.
Have you seen the new fall season?
I haven't seen the new fall season. I always watch Entertainment Tonight.
Oh, sure.
Because I always like to know what's coming up next. They always promo a lot. John Tish one night said, when we come back, we'll show you why Milton Berle is twice as funny as you thought he was. And I'm thinking, well, no, because 2 times 0 is still 0. So that wouldn't exactly work too. Now they're booing me. Yeah. Will the band be close behind? Yeah. And then Bob Costas. I've been watching him on this new show.
There's a show right after ours, I understand.
Right after your show. It's called Later. And by the way, NBC is also giving me my own show now. It's called Never. So...
Congratulations.
Be sure not to watch for that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, thank you. And then Siskel and Ebert, of course, are still always at the movies together because neither one of them can get a date. And, well, see, a lot of people get them mixed up. Siskel is the one without too much hair, and he's very intense. And the other one is Ebert, who was last year's winner in the National Little Dumpy Guy contest. So.
Who sponsored that?
I think that was the Ice House in Pasadena.
I don't know. The Little Dumpy Guy contest.
That was another plug.
We have to...
Final language of a comprehensive anti-drug bill. The agreement clears the way for the 100th Congress to vote Friday and adjourn for the year. The bill allocates about $2.5 billion to fight drugs. It is intended to deal with all aspects of the problem: enforcement, treatment, education, and smuggling from abroad. Thursday, conservatives won a battle to include another issue in the bill: penalties to fight the distribution of obscene materials. Once a Peace Corps volunteer, Alan Moore is now the Commerce Department.
This is Alan. He's been with us for, what is it, Lee? They landed a huge...
Eternity, I think it was. Or was it Marty?
No.
Maybe it was High Noon. I don't know. I haven't seen a movie since Shane.
Why is that?
I don't know. I don't get out of the house very much. I'm always in my room. I feel safe in the room. You come over if you ever find out where I live.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much.
Who are these people?
Delivering coffee.
Oh, thank you very much.
You have to order it days in advance here in New York. Thank you. So where were we?
Oh, we were talking about TV.
Television,
There's one commercial that I was wondering if you'd all seen. 2 guys are walking down the street. This is for a drugstore, by the way. 2 guys are walking down the street. One of them's name is Fred. He falls over with a heart attack. His friend who's telling the story dashes into the drugstore to get heart attack pills. And he says a great line. He says a great line. He says, I don't know who was more scared that day, me or Fred. Well, my money's on Fred. Yeah, I think a guy who's dying is a little more shook up than somebody running an errand.
But you say you can now get heart attack pills.
Yeah, that's what it said on.
I didn't realize that. You just go in and you get heart attack pills.
I'm just reporting on what I saw.
So that pretty much removes the fear of heart attacks forever.
Well, I know I don't have it anymore.
Just have a couple of heart attack pills, and it's like acne medication.
There's one more for Primatene Mist. The guy actually has bronchial asthma so bad he doesn't have enough breath left to blow out the match. So then he uses Primatene Mist, and then he can blow out the match. So I get this medication. Either that or go like this with a match. Maybe I should start going like this after every joke.
No, it's a very useful tip. I appreciate that. How's your personal life?
Well, I'll tell you something. Everybody, it's not just mine, it's just everybody's personal life. Pat Paulson, did you read about him? He's getting a divorce.
Oh, I didn't. I'm sorry to hear
his
that.
wife has a restraining order against him. She can't telephone him or come within 500 feet of him.
Wow.
Gee, that must be hell. And I'll tell you something. I'm getting to the age now, I can't always satisfy a woman, but with my behavior, I can usually get her out of the mood.
Yeah.
And if you don't appreciate that, you will eventually, so just hang on.
Is that like a permanent change?
That's probably a permanent change, yeah. I've been to several doctors. I don't know what's wrong.
Have you been up to Seattle lately to see Mom?
I'm going up there. Well, I was up there about a month ago. My mom now...
The Pacific Northwest. Yeah.
The
Emerald
City.
Yeah. That's right.
My mom now has her own business. She's in the Yellow Pages under I Can Spoil Any Occasion. And I always thought my mom would love to be interrogated by the police, because the police make you tell the same story over and over and over. And even though I'm, what, about 67 now, she still sends me to the store. We're at the department store recently, and they got a big threatening sign, which I hate. You may be fined $500 for shoplifting. Sure. Which is actually a good deal, because I always try to steal at least $1,000 worth of merchandise.
Yeah, so it's like a sale for you
kind
then.
Of a sale, yeah. And I had to buy her some Maalox. Did you ever have to drink?
No, never had Maalox.
Yeah, now on the bottle it says great new taste. Oh yeah, I'll bet it's nectar from the gods.
And read any good books lately?
You're right, it is kind of peaceful in here.
Yes,
You're
it is.
absolutely right.
It's downright serene. It's like camping, isn't it?
I just read George Steinbrenner's new autobiography about his childhood. It's called I Never Had a Pet I Didn't Kill.
Oh, I didn't realize that was out.
Yeah, that's out. It's a fast edition. And then I like those medical articles that they have in the tabloids. I fainted in my sleep and didn't know it. And I had one thing.
Is this your big closer here?
Well,
go to the paper.
I don't think we should say that.
The big closer.
This is from the New York Times. This is a one ad I didn't quite understand. 6-figure income, challenging position, work with interesting people, glamorous offices, some lifting. That was my big closer. I didn't know it. It was my big closer.
It's George.
Coastal fog, as you can see here across California. But we're looking at this next weather system. This temperatures and the chance of rain slips back into the forecast as well. Well, for the Hawaiian Islands, we did see some passing showers later on this afternoon, but by the early morning...
The door open. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for small town news. Paul, excuse me, Paul, do you have any accompanying music here for small town news? Paul Schaefer, ladies and gentlemen. Hi, Paul. How are you? Do you have anything here for us?
Yeah, I got a little something. Small town news, it's always nifty, but even better, going 50 on Route 78. You can't beat the views, yeah, for small town news. Let's cruise, let's cruise, let's cruise, let's cruise, let's cruise, and do the news.
Very nice, thank you, Paul. Paul, let me ask you something.
Okay.
Do you think maybe we've been doing the show too long?
I can't hear you.
Thank you very much. Small town news, ladies and gentlemen. For no apparent reason, from the back of a truck. Our first item comes to us from the Republican Eagle, Red Wing, Minnesota. It's a correction. An error appeared in the November 2nd Dear Abby column. It stated that Charlie's hiccups were cured temporarily through the use of carbon monoxide. It should have stated carbon dioxide. Also a correction on the recipe. The cookies should have read baking soda, not battery acid. Small town news. Our next item comes to us from the Capitol, Annapolis, Maryland. Little item here, as you can see, Mr. Heat Pump, 1987. Mr. James Lippy, service manager of B&B Refrigeration Company of Frederick Incorporated, won the coveted Mr. Heat Pump title for 1987. Mr. Heat Pump for 1987. Coincidentally, that was my nickname in college. Paul, coincidentally, that was my nickname in college.
What?
The Ellsworth American, Ellsworth, Maine, the Governor McKernan says 1989 will be year of solid waste. Ladies and gentlemen, call me a dreamer, but I wish every year could be the year of solid waste. That's also NBC's slogan for the fall lineup, isn't it, Paul? Here you go. I'm going to lead you. Sorry. We have people to pick that up.
I know. Where are they?
They'll come out later tonight. Skyline Newspaper, Chicago, Illinois, 17th Annual Fall Dog Show and Obedience Trials, sponsored by the International Kennel Club. Special attraction, the art of dog hair spinning. The art of dog hair spinning. Do you like my jacket? It's a Collie Schnauzer blend. You'd make a lovely sweater, although you have to watch out for mange. Paul, is this part of the interstate system?
Something, I can't quite hear the
Thank you very much. We're trying the Federal Highway to bring you small town news.
Thank you.
Thank you. I gotta go to the bathroom. I gotta go to the... All right, one more. And then you have something to play us out? Why don't we just drive on down to Florida? I say, why don't we just drive on down to Florida?
Oh, swell idea. How do we get down there? I-95 again.
You look like you're about to perform some kind of incredible stunt.
I can make it to Florida. Very relaxing here.
And finally, from the Sunday Standard Times, New Bedford, Massachusetts, ad for a gift show at North Dartmouth Mall. Come help us celebrate the grand opening of our new public restrooms. Tell you what, honey, let's drink down a six-pack and go over to the mall and celebrate the opening of the restrooms. There's nothing worse than trying to take a leak and a clown is handing you a balloon. Is there, Paul? Is there, Paul? Go ahead, play something. Small town news from a speeding truck.
With in-laws.
You know, there was a recent study of newlyweds, and they asked the newly...
Down on the field, about 100,000. How many people did you invite?
Oh, about 2 million. Every Texan who drinks Miller Lite.
Wow, sounds like some party.
Well, I guess I'll go look for a bigger place. You want to come?
No, I think I'll stay and watch practice.
Hey, Drew, get back to you soon with more details.
There's only one. Under the T. Truck. Truck. Do something on a truck. That's where we are. Our next...
I really appreciate it, and it's a pleasure to meet you. And I know I say this a lot, but you do look terrific. You look just great.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Were you born in this country? Were you born in...
Oh, no, I was born in New Haven, Connecticut.
Really?
Yeah, actually, in a little town just outside of New Haven called Hamden, Connecticut.
All right.
Way back in 1917, which kind of dates me, doesn't it?
1917, so that makes you what? You're
71.
Close to, wow, 71. Congratulations. But you also spent some time abroad, right, when you were a kid?
Yes, I spent some time with my mother over there, and when I came back, couldn't speak a word of English.
In Italy?
In Italy.
Yeah, yeah. What was that like for
My mother was a countess over there, and so she took me over there and had a lot of business engagements and everything else. And finally, when Mussolini came in, why, everything was gone, and she came back.
Yeah, yeah.
But
now, if your mother was a countess, does that make you anything?
Oh yes, a count of no count.
but what was that like? What are your memories of being the son of an Italian countess?
Well, I remember my grandfather, who was he was the financial advisor to Victor Emmanuel, the king.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw him with his carriage every morning, going out with his top hat and cutaway coat and everything else, and his cane sitting there in the back end of his carriage, being driven to work. I don't think he ever did an honest day's work in his life, but, you know.
But now, do you remember being thrilled by all of this, or just taking it for granted because this was the way life was for you then?
Well, actually, it was taken pretty much for granted by me until suddenly it was gone, you know, and I didn't know any better. I was just a kid.
Yeah, and then you came back to this country, and eventually there was a period in your life where you were known as the man who killed Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, I guess so. Especially one time when I went up to the Bronx to make a picture called Marty, and we were in our second night of shooting, and they saw me up there, and they said, yeah, there goes that SOB, you know, that killed Frank Sinatra. I looked over my shoulder.
Now, these are not members of the crew. These are people
standing there watching the whole thing. And so I said, hi, how are you? And I went over and changed my clothes and got into the habit and everything else, and started working my lines by myself. And suddenly there's a tap on the shoulder. Say, hey, you guy killed Frank Sinatra.
That's right, I killed Frank Sinatra.
I said,
yes, it's me.
And some guy spoke up in Italian and said, well, let's beat the hell out of him. I said, wait a minute, boys. You know, in Italian, I spoke to him, and I said, thank you, gentlemen, but look, it was only a picture. He got an Academy Award for it. What do you want?
Posthumously, of course, but yeah.
And besides, I said, it was only a picture, but I said, if you really want to fight, I'll take you on one at a time. The guy says, you're Italian? I said, yes, Italian descent. Oh, my God, why didn't you say so?
Yeah.
So from then on, you know, they brought me pizzas and gallons of wine. But the one guy still insisted we ought to beat the hell out of him.
Doesn't that strike you as odd that people do that? And I think people, even today, would still do that. They see something on television.
I had at that time, when I had my hair cut short, even policemen were ready to run me in, you know.
That's amazing.
Oh, it was an amazing thing. And I can recall one time my father, when he first went to see the picture, he was sitting in front of two old biddies that were there, you know, and they kept saying, oh, that terrible man, oh, that bastard, and oh, this, and finally he turned around and he said, I'll have you know that SOB is my son.
Oh, geez, it's very strange, though. It's a very odd phenomenon. And then you did McHale's Navy, but that was much later.
Oh, much later, yes.
But at the time, you were an enormous film star.
Well, I don't know about enormous, but certainly I was working in films and getting well paid for it.
Did it seem odd to you that to take a television job?
Well, at the time, I didn't want to, but I'll tell you what happened. It seemed that my agent had called and said, listen, they're going to do a show called McHale's Navy. Would you like to be the leading character in it? And I said, no, thanks. I said, I'm a motion picture actor now, and, you know, I don't want to do any more television.
What year are we talking about? In the early 60s?
1962.
Right.
1961, the end of 61. So he said, okay, fine. And next morning there came a young man to the door, and he knocked, and I opened the door, and he said, sir, he said, I'm selling some chocolate bars. Would you like to buy some? He said, we're going to build a gymnasium for a private school and all. I said, sure, sure. Give me half a dozen. I was getting the money, and he said, say, he said, mister, he says, haven't I seen you somewhere before? He said, are you in show business? And I said, yes, I am. He said, what's your name? I said, James Arness. He said, no. He said, James Arness does Gunsmoke. I said, no, my name is really Richard Boone, kid.
But it's fun to lie.
Of course.
It's fun to lie to the kids, isn't it?
Of course, you know. Yeah. And my name is really Richard Boone. He says, no, he does Have Gun Will Travel. Now, I said to myself, now I'll test him.
Yeah.
I said, my name is really Ernest Borgnine. And nothing, I mean to tell you, no recognition. He said, I know I've seen you somewhere before. I said, here, kid, thanks, here's your money. He left, put the chocolate bars down, closed the door, called up my agent. I said, are they still going to do that thing with McHale's Navy? He said, yeah. I said, okay, we'll do it. He said, wonderful, what changed your mind? I said, none of your damn business. I must tell you, David, I must tell you, a year later, almost to the day, after we had filmed it and everything else, the first one, and we were on vacation, and I was slipping and sliding down a hill in Bend, Oregon, looking for a lake, and finally...
You were out there fishing or something?
Yeah, I was going to go fishing. Yeah. And suddenly we came upon it, and I went into this log cabin. And the fella took one look at me and he says, "Mikhail, what are you doing here?" And I said, "Son of a gun, that kid was right."
It was right. It would have been funny if the kid said, "Ooh, you killed Frank Sinatra."
Well, then the cat was out of the bag, right?
Yeah, by that time.
I might never have done Mikhail's Navy.
Are we, is this true, we're out of time here? No, it's a darn shame. Well, listen,
what a shame.
it was a pleasure meeting you, and anytime you feel like you want to drop by.
Oh, David, the movie.